Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard. Before I dive into the topic that I have this week, I do like to say if you'd like to know one or two things about this community, Life for Living Well, you can find it out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. If you also would like to sign up for our weekly newsletter where we push out the article regarding each of the podcasts weekly through the email, you can sign it up with your email on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. So let's dive in without taking much of your time. So as we continue from the topic we started last week, travel alone, and examine the benefit and the advantage that are associated with travel alone, and also giving us a tips how to plan to travel alone and the process and the steps that are required to travel alone, and also when you have to prioritize whether you should do it or not. It comes to two things: the budget that you have and the experience you want to experience in your chosen location. So as part of this series, so this week we will focus more on choosing one of the countries that I was able to visit myself and able to do some research when I was there. So hopefully that if you're already in the country that I'm going to look at it today, you probably will agree with some of the points that I'm going to cover. And if you haven't been able to go yet and you are looking forward to go there, please, it's a beautiful place to go and visit, and then you can take the part of those journey yourself and try to gauge against what I'm about to share this week. I'm excited about it, and I hope that you will find unique excitement about it yourself. So let's dive into it. So the topic this week is what I call 5 things being in Denmark will teach you. So what are the 5 things? There are many things that you find in Denmark, and it depends on the part of Denmark that you visited. So, but generally is to narrow it down so it's easier for you that listen to the podcast to pick, and if you can embrace these 5 things to your own personal space, you will see the positive change in it, the way you reason, the way you think, and the way you do your things. So again, the topic for this week is what I call 5 things being in Denmark will teach you. As we normally do, we normally take one inspirational quote to use to start and open the podcast. So this week, I'm not just using one, I'm using 2. And I will give the reason why I'm using the 2. So the second one is just taking in common Danish proverbs and use that to guide us about a particular topic that I'm looking at. So it's still part of Travel Alone series that we're doing. So this is episode 2 of that series. The first quote, I took it from David Mitchell, and he put it this way: travel far enough, you meet yourself. And this is what a lot of people don't want to do, but travel is an educational process, and it's kind of education that's so deeper than the one you will find in school or find in the book, unless you practice it. You can read a book about a place, you can read a book about to ride a bike. It doesn't mean you can ride a bike. You still have to practice with the bike and feel confidence that you can actually ride a bike. So the same thing that the travel create different kind of education for us, and it's more explorative side of education where we may be able to face our limits or our extension where we didn't know we have a capability that we're capable to do things this way. So the second one is common Danish proverb. So I'll link it to Christian Andersen. So he put it this way. So for the Danish people, that if I didn't pronounce it well, please forgive me. And it's this way in Danish. Say at rejse, leve. So meaning that to travel is to live. So you can see that this part of this world, traveling is not just a take or something that you go and take a picture and your video of yourself and blast it in social media. It's actually a process of learning. It's a process that exposes you to things that you are not used to or don't know or even not aware of yourself. So exploring Denmark are 5 lessons from the solo trip. Number 1. So, and before I dive into the 5 things that you will notice when you're in Denmark, if you travel by yourself, or if you decide to travel in a group, but this particular podcast is focused on travel, so on your exploration and the 5 lessons you can learn from solo trip. As part of my solo travel this week, let's examine 5 things you can learn from spending at least 10 days in Denmark. At one point, Denmark was voted the happiest country in the world. And for me, I always wonder what made it earn this title. Me, for almost 2 or 3 years on a row, the country is voted the most happiest place to be or live in the world. So what is it that makes Denmark stand out in this way? So upon arriving in Denmark for my 10 days visit, I immediately started looking for signs, and you'll be so surprised that you thought that it would be something that I've not seen before. I've seen trees, I've seen parks, I've seen river, I've seen people, I've seen buses, I've seen cars, I've seen hotels. So what is it that will be in this country that I've not seen before, that will make it, that made it the most happiest place, happiest country in the world? So I was looking for signs, because as a human being, we always try to want to explain things that we don't know. So something unique that made life here so special. So this is what I was looking for. However, at first glance, I didn't notice anything particularly different from where I had come from. So everything that I've seen in my few hours that I arrived to the country is something that I have in abundance as well in where I came from. So one day, I think 2 days after I arrived to the country, I was walking through the streets. I saw some impatient motorists around 9 a.m. in the morning. They were blasting their horn. And I said, oh, this happened as well in London. So later I found myself in a public park where a group of young women were jogging while pushing prams with their babies inside. It was the first time I would see a number of young women and middle-aged women pushing a baby in the pram. It's about 20 or 30 of them, and they were running in circular like a 5 km 5K run, you do it like a park run on Saturday here in the UK. So it's like a club, they know each other and they invite each other out. After the run, they also go into the cafe, shops in the park to have the breakfast together. So this woman probably in their maternity, so they're taking time to bond with their child. And I was taken back from this. So I took my small jotter note because I carry my small notebook in my pocket. And not only for that, I like to write, and sometimes the topic that I'm going to deal will flash to my mind. I would like to write it down at that moment rather than just rely on my memory to keep it. So they varied in shape and fitness levels, and the park itself is in keep with public gym amenities. So things that you find in the gym is there in the open park, in the public park. If you don't want to run, if you run finish, or before you run, you want to stretch yourself, you want to lift up the weight, you want to do acrobatic, everything is there. And it's free. So I sat and I observed their interactions as well as those using the exercise equipment. It was an eyes-opening experience for me because I have not seen things like that at that time before. So here in the UK, some of those things are springing up in the last few years now. At the time, it wasn't things like that. So yet, I still couldn't pinpoint how these small details contributed to Denmark's happiness ranking. Is it because more people exercising or have a social bond in Denmark than where I came from? So 2 days later, after the event, I decided to conduct an orthodox, open-ended research study of my own. I randomly asked individuals a simple question. What makes you happy? This is the question that I threw to them. After I introduced myself, comment about their bike, their clothes, their smile, and then I would say, do you mind if I ask you a question? And they would say, go ahead. So I spoke with people I met on the streets, in pubs, in restaurants, hotels, public transport, parks, and even at a marathon race. So based on their answer, I summarized the key reason why they believe Denmark was the happiest country at the time of my visit. So let's look at it together. So 5 key lessons from Denmark. Number 1, the power of each. What is this? In Danish word, it means cozy living. Danes prioritize comfort, simplicity, and togetherness. I saw that even ordinary group of people come together. And there's a power in these things. But sometimes we take it for granted. Many people isolate themselves from bonding with a group that can help them to find themselves and feel connected. You know how frustrated we could be if we don't connect with the internet. So it means we cannot relate to another thing or connect to the bank or connect to the through the phone to our friends. So how much more interaction between beings, whether connecting with your pet or connecting with your nature or connecting with your friends. So hygge in Danish, it means creating a warm atmosphere, enjoying simple pleasures like taking a walk, sitting down in a park, watching the birds or duck in the river. Is the joy of a moment, taking your mind away from things that has happened, things that may happen in the future, but just be in the present. And spending quality time with loved ones. So every time you have the opportunity to be with people you care about, try being intentional about it by being listening to them. Not just only being there physically where your mind is somewhere else. I am guilty of this a lot. But I'm encouraging you and I'm working on myself as well to be more intentional about how I share my quality time with my family, with my friends, even with my colleagues at work. It can only bring mutual benefit for everyone that participates in it, for you and for the others and for your community. Number 2 on my list is trust and social responsibility. You see people picking stuff on the ground and put it in the recycle bin. You see people color and separate things for recycle. And it's so fascinating for me at the time. So Denmark has a high trust society. People trust each other and the government. Will you say the same thing in your own country? Most people are skeptical about politicians, the government. They're skeptical about their neighbors or their friends or their family. And in return, the welfare systems ensures a high quality of life, that people know that what they're paying for to the system is transparent enough, system is honest enough to return it back into a greater quality for their whole betterness of the whole society. So this trust extends to everyday life. What did I mean by that? I met someone on the doorsteps, and what they told me is they like the system because it's focused more on children, elderly people. So knowing that if you pay to the system is strong enough to look after you when you are not able to do it. So in the beginning of your life and toward the end of your life, the system is support you. So when you in your active life, you don't really care how much you pay to the system, because you know the system is transparent, honest enough to do what is rightful. It's a contract of trust between those who govern and those who govern them. So what's my example that I've seen is leaving babies outside in the prams while parents enjoy a coffee inside. You go to the bar when people smoke and they put the child in the pram outside. It's a trust society. And number 3, work-life balance matters for Danish people. So the Danish work culture emphasizes a strong balance between professional and personal life. Shorter work hours, generous parental leave, and a focus on well-being. Ensure that people have time for family, hobbies, and realization. So you don't just spend your life working. You prioritize what is most important thing to you above everything else. And the system encourage people to have life balance, to have life, to enjoy the money you actually work for, to have the relationship with your loved ones. And that takes me to number 4 on my list. Biking is a way of life. Absolutely. I've never seen a lot of bike apart from in Amsterdam. I've never seen a lot of bike as a means of transport like I've seen in Denmark. And the demarcation between the road, the pedestrian, and the bikers is so serene. Even on the bridge is so big enough to accommodate different interests. And well labeled and symbol. So biking is a way of life. So Denmark, especially Copenhagen, is designed for cyclists. Dedicated bike lanes, bike first policy. So these are the things that I've seen that the government introduced and enforce and encouraging cyclists and more people to commit to that. It can only be good for the long time and the short term of the people, health-wise, finance-wise. So you spend lives for committing to work. You move your body. It creates happy hormone into your systems. You feel fit. Even though if you're going to sit down on a chair working for 6 hours, you're already moving your body for 1.5 hours. Depends where you're coming from work. And a strong biking culture means that many people choose 2-wheel over 4 for their daily commute. So it saves them money. Not only save them money, it's good for environment, it's good for them because you have a clear air that you breathe into your systems. And lastly, number 5, minimalism and sustainability. So again, it's similar to the first one, simplicity. And many people complicated their life, even the life is simple, but they complicated it by their choices and the lifestyle. But one thing I've seen, even their house, even the furniture, even the restaurants, the thing you will notice is how they are more resourceful, minimalism and sustainability, that they're conscious of environment, conscious of waste, conscious of ethic living. So Danes embrace minimalism in both design and lifestyle. So you could say the lifestyle they chose is because it's driven by minimalism, so that it's not a culture of waste, it's a culture of resourcefulness. So Danes embrace minimalism in both design and lifestyle. Their homes, fashion, and products are often sleek, functional, and eco-friendly. So sustainability is a priority with a focus on renewable energy, recycling, and conscious consumption. I hope that these 5 things will encourage those who have not have yet opportunities to finish Denmark to pay the country a visit. It's a beautiful country. And I hope for those who are there already, they can find 1 or 2 things they can agree. Please give us thumbs up, make a comment, let me hear your experience of Denmark. You can go to our website And under this article, you can also make a comment on it. And if you like to get weekly article that we push out to the subscriber, subscribing to us is free. So all you just need to do is enter your email to receive weekly article when we push it out. So in the next article, we will explore another country in this solo travel journey. Each destination offers valuable lesson, small or big, that we can bring back into our own lives. So I just don't want us to go to a place to just relax, have ice cream, eat, and then come back and then take a picture. I want us to go with intentions to explore hidden gem that is not exist where we live, and we can take one or two things from there that we can put into our own life, and it can shape us better than where we are now. So I hope this message helps someone. Until we catch up again, please stay safe and have a wonderful week. Ciao.